In this video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish asymmetric overbust Victorian corset. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment at the comment section. So let's dive right into today's video. So here is my pattern, and I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements, which includes my shoulder to bust, under bust, waist and blouse length. So for my blouse length, I added additional 5 inches to it. So the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my shoulder, and my shoulder is divided by 2 and I will come down by 1 inch. So after marking that, I'll be drawing out my shoulder slope or shoulder slant. So the next step is to find my chest line, and I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches, and I'll mark. Now I'll place my ruler and draw out a straight line. So after I'm done marking that, whatever I have on the shoulder, I'll go ahead to mark it back on the chest line of my pattern. Now I'm going to place my ruler and I'm going to draw out a straight line connecting to the shoulder. Next, I'm going to divide what I have here into 2 and I will mark. So after I'm done marking, I'll come out by ½ inch. Then go ahead to mark my bust circumference divided by 4. So from this point now, I'm going to connect from here all the way to this point, and I'll extend it to the upper part of my shoulder. So after I'm done marking that, so the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my dart, and to mark my dart is my nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 inches, which I will go ahead to mark. So after I'm done marking, I'll place my ruler and I'm going to go ahead to draw out a straight line starting from that point all the way down. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to mark my dart intake. So I'm using a dart intake of 1 inch on this pattern, and I'll go ahead to mark this all the way to the blouse length also. So if you're busty or you're on the plus size, go ahead to use 1.5 inches on both sides of the pattern and you're going to connect. So after I'm done connecting, I'll connect from the bust to the under bust, and I'll also go ahead to repeat this at the other side of my pattern. So the next step I'll take now is to go ahead to draw out my darts at the upper part, but first I'll mark my basic neckline of 3 inches, measure what I have left here, and I'll divide here into 2. Now I'll place my ruler and I'll connect this all the way up. After I'm done connecting, I'm going to use a shoulder dart for this pattern, which I will go out by 2 inches. So you can use 2.5 inches on your own pattern. So if you notice, I marked 1 inch here and 1 inch on the other side. So let's say you're plus size or a bit busty, you can go ahead to use 1.25 inches on your shoulder dart at both sides. So now I'll go ahead to connect this, and I'll be extending this all the way to the lower part. After I'm done marking this right now, I'll go ahead to also extend this part of my dart or outline it. So I'll go ahead to insert my body measurement. At the bust area of my pattern, I'll be marking my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 33 divided by 4. I'll mark. Pick a dart on this point, which is about ½ inch, and I'll go ahead to replace and add my sewing allowance. So after this, I'll mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake and add my sewing allowance. So my waist is 28 and I want to take out 2 inches, which I'll minus from my waist. That is 28 minus 2, I have 26, and I'll divide that 26 by 4, then mark, measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. Here I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, measure this dart intake, replace, and I'll add my sewing allowance. So after marking that, I'll place my ruler and I'm going to go ahead to connect my pattern. So after this, I'll go ahead to connect my pattern, then connect from the waist all the way down. So after I'm done connecting, I'm going to go ahead to use my marker to outline. So the next step I'm going to take is to mark my dart or my bust dart, and to get that is the difference between your shoulder to waist in front minus your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17, my shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5. So if you take out 15.5 from 17 you have 1.5. So now we're going to draw out the asymmetric neckline of this dress. So what you're going to do is you want to go ahead to note where you want it to stop. So I'm marking 2.5 inches after my chest line. So I'll blend this up and I will connect. So from here I'm going to go ahead to extend this all the way up. So we are cutting this on fold. So from this 2.5 at the side, I'll connect to the armhole. So when you open it up, the center will now have the complete asymmetric neckline you have at the center part. So now I'll just come in here about 3 inches, blend this out, and I'll extend this down by 1.5 inches after the 5 inches length. Now you can add another style line to your pattern because I've already snatched out my waistline, so you just have to add a style line to it, and I'll go ahead to cut this out. So after I'm done cutting out, I'll be showing you what my final result is. So also when you're cutting out your pattern, you want to blend this part out before going ahead to cut this out. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments at the comment section, and after this we'll go ahead to cut out the back pattern. So for the back pattern, I've gone ahead to mark out my basic measurements just like we have at the front. I marked my shoulder to
So after that, I went ahead to mark my
and
dart,
blouse
and
length,
to mark my
and I
dart
also
is my
added
nipple to
extra
nipple
5
divided
inches
by
for the
2.
blouse
So my
length.
nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I
So
have
after I'm done
3.5
connecting
inches,
this, the
which I
next step
marked
I'm
all the
going
way
to
from the
take
upper
is
part
to
to the
mark my
lower part
darts.
of my
I'll be using
pattern.
a basic dart intake of 1/2 inch on both sides. So now I'll place my ruler and I will be connecting this all the way up. So I'll go ahead to also connect this all the way to the lower part of my pattern. After this, I'll be marking my measurement. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4, add my sewing allowance, mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure this dart intake place and add my sewing allowance. So here I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead to connect. So remember, the waist measurement we're using is the one we used for the front, which you're snatching out your waistline. And I'll go in with my marker to outline this. So after I'm done outlining, the next step I will take is to come down by 1/2 inch here, and I will go ahead to place my ruler, and I'm going to go ahead to connect all the way to my chest line. So after connecting to my chest line, I'm going to go ahead to mark out the lacing area. So I'm using 2 inches for the lacing area. You can use 1.5 or make use of any design of your choice. Now I'm going to place my ruler and draw a straight line. So after I'm done doing that, I'm going to mark this and then go ahead to connect from this point to draw out that same look alike asymmetric hemline we have for the front pattern. So after this, I'll go ahead to cut this out. This is what we have basically for the back pattern. So I'll go ahead to cut this out. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments at the comment section, and if you also have any question, please go ahead to leave it at the comment section. And after I'm done cutting, this is what the final pattern for the back looks like.